What if the most important secret in crypto isn't a trading indicator, but a question? Peter Thiel, the man who backed Facebook before anyone else and co founded PayPal, has a crypto playbook built on one contrarian idea. It's not about getting rich tomorrow, it's about owning the financial system of the day after tomorrow. It's not about quick flips and meme coins. It's a patient, decade spanning strategy to build the very foundations of a new world. And today, we're revealing the three core principles he's using to do it. This isn't just another crypto video. We're digging into a philosophical and strategic masterclass from one of Silicon Valley's most enigmatic and successful investors. By the end of this, you'll see the entire cryptocurrency market through a completely new lens, one that filters out the noise and focuses on the signals that truly matter. Forget the daily charts, we're looking at the grand chessboard. To understand Peter Thiel's crypto playbook, you first have to understand Peter Thiel. This isn't your typical tech billionaire. He's been called a public intellectual, a political Svengali, and the philosophical architect of Silicon Valley's modern ethos. He co-founded PayPal, which basically created the consumer internet payments industry. He was the very first outside investor in Facebook, seeing a global social network when everyone else saw a college website. He co-founded Palantir, a data analytics company that works with governments and defense agencies, and he's the author of a legendary book, Zero to One, which is less a business manual and more a philosophical treatise on building the future. The core message of Zero to One is simple but profound. Don't compete. Don't just make something slightly better. An incremental improvement, that's going from 1 to NE. Instead, create something entirely new. Go from 0 to 1. The next Bill Gates won't build an operating system, and the next Mark Zuckerberg won't build a social network. They'll create something that didn't exist before. Thiel argues that true value, impact, and monopolies are found not in fighting over a small piece of an existing pie, but in baking a completely new one. And that one idea, it's the master key to unlocking his entire crypto strategy. While the masses are chasing the next 100 times altcoin, getting lost in a sea of 1-10 projects that are just copies of each other, Thiel is operating on a different plane. He isn't just investing in crypto, he is patiently and strategically funding the construction of a parallel financial system. His playbook isn't a get-rich-quick scheme, it's a long-term three-part strategy. First, identify a world-changing truth few people agree on. Second, back the companies that can build a monopoly around that truth. And third, ensure this new creation is aligned with the geopolitical power structures needed for it to survive. So, what's the central thesis? Peter Thiel's secret crypto playbook is a direct application of his 0 to 1 philosophy. He's aiming to build creative monopolies, align with political power, and capitalize on a contrarian truth he believes will redefine money itself. He's not just playing the game, he's building the stadium, writing the rulebook, and selling the tickets. To see it in action, you have to look past the hype and focus on the three pillars of his grand design. Principle 1, the contrarian truth, Bitcoin as a rebellion. At the heart of Peter Thiel's philosophy is a single powerful question he asks every entrepreneur and himself. What important truth do very few people agree with you on? For most of the world, crypto is a financial asset, digital gold, a speculative tech stock, a way to get rich. These are the consensus opinions. But for Thiel, this misses the point entirely. His contrarian truth is far bigger, more political, and more revolutionary. Thiel's contrarian truth is that Bitcoin is not just an asset. It is a political and cultural rebellion. It's a vote of no confidence in the entire global financial establishment. This was never clearer than at the Bitcoin 2022 conference in Miami. In a now famous keynote speech, Thiel didn't talk about trading strategies. He took the stage and presented a list of enemies. His enemies list wasn't rival crypto projects. It was a collection of the most powerful figures in traditional finance. He called out Warren Buffett, the sociopathic grandpa from Omaha, who famously dismissed Bitcoin as rat poison squared. He criticized Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan, for his public hypocrisy on crypto. And he targeted Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, for an ESG-driven worldview that Thiel sees as a smokescreen for control. To Thiel, these figures weren't just old-fashioned investors who didn't get crypto. They represented what he called the gerontocracy, a ruling class of aging financial leaders presiding over a stagnant fiat monetary system. A system propped up by central banks printing money, leading to the inflation that silently erodes everyone's wealth. In this context, Bitcoin isn't just an inflation hedge, it is the weapon of the rebellion. He presented a slide showing Bitcoin's price against the words, "You will eat the bugs," a meme representing a dystopian future of mandated austerity. His point was clear: the establishment offers you a future of decline and control. Bitcoin offers a future of freedom and sovereignty. It is an exit, a hedge, as he has often said, against the whole world falling apart. He believes the value of Bitcoin is directly proportional to the perceived incompetence of our central banks and governments. The more they print and debase their currencies, the stronger the case for a decentralized, finite store of value becomes. He's not betting on a chart, he's betting against the system. Recently, Thiel has even noted that with institutional players like BlackRock now entering the game via ETFs, the secret is out. He stated in November 2025 that he's not sure it's going to go up dramatically from here because the institutions he once railed against are now co-opting the rebellion. But this doesn't invalidate his thesis, it confirms it. The war phase is just transitioning into a more complex era of integration. For years, Thiel's contrarian truth was that Bitcoin was a political statement disguised as a technology. Now that the world is catching on, his focus has shifted from identifying the rebellion to building the infrastructure that will allow it to win. This leads directly to the second principle in his playbook. Principle 2, the monopoly play, building the stadium. If Bitcoin is the rebellion, then Thiel's second principle is about building the infrastructure for that rebellion to thrive. This is his 0 to 1 philosophy in action. Create a product or service so unique and superior that it has no real competition. This is where we need to look at his actual investments. We'll focus on two key examples that perfectly illustrate his monopoly strategy: Bullish and BitMine immersion technologies. Case study 1, Bullish, the institutional black hole. First, let's talk about Bullish. Backed by Thiel, Bullish is a global cryptocurrency exchange. But saying it's just competing with Coinbase or Binance is to miss the point. That would be a 1-to-N move. Bullish is a 0 to 1 play aimed at a completely different customer, Wall Street. For years, major hedge funds and banks hesitated to dive into crypto because existing exchanges were built for retail traders. They lacked the deep liquidity and compliance tools that institutions require. You can't execute $1 billion trade on an app designed for someone buying a fraction of a coin. Bullish was designed from the ground up to solve these institutional problems. It uses a hybrid model to create massive liquidity pools, allowing institutions to execute enormous trades with minimal impact. It offers services that are music to a compliance officer's ears, robust custody, independent audits, and segregated assets. This strategy faced a tough road. An attempt to go public via a SPAC in 2022 collapsed, but they didn't give up. In October 2025, Bullish completed a massive $1.15 billion IPO on the New York Stock Exchange, debuting at $37 a share and opening at $90, with its valuation soaring past $13 billion. This wasn't just a win, it was a major validation of the entire strategy, bridging the wild west of crypto and the regulated world of Wall Street. The ambition isn't to be just another crypto exchange. It's to become the only exchange that matters for serious institutional capital. This is the monopoly play. Create a market so deep, liquid, and compliant that it becomes the gravitational center for Wall Street's crypto activity. Case study 2, BitMine, the secret Ethereum play. Now for the second and perhaps more revealing case study, BitMine immersion technologies. For a long time, the public story was that BitMine was a Bitcoin mining company using advanced immersion cooling. That's true, but it's only the tip of the iceberg. In July 2025, Peter Thiel's venture firm Founders Fund disclosed a 9.1% stake in BitMine. The news sent the stock soaring. Many observers thought it was a simple bet on Bitcoin mining. They were wrong. This was a calculated, strategic investment into the future of Ethereum. Around this time, BitMine pivoted. It was no longer just a mining company. It began an aggressive campaign to become a massive Ethereum treasury powerhouse. Using capital from private placements, with Thiel's Founders Fund, Pantera Capital, and Galaxy Digital participating, BitMine started accumulating vast quantities of Ether. The investment wasn't just about mining Bitcoin, it was a masterstroke to gain massive exposure to the Ethereum ecosystem through a publicly traded, regulated company. BitMine's dual business model is genius. Use the steady revenue from efficient Bitcoin mining to fund the relentless accumulation of ETH. Why is this so important? It's a bet on the utility of the crypto ecosystem. While Bitcoin is Thiel's political rebellion, Ethereum is his financial utility layer. It's the decentralized world computer where the future of finance, DeFi, staking, and smart contracts will be built. By November 2025, BitMine had become one of the largest corporate holders of Ethereum, owning a significant percentage of the total supply. The company is even preparing to launch its own staking solutions, which will allow it to lock up its ETH holdings to earn yield, turning its treasury into a productive, revenue-generating asset. Let's put the two pieces together. With Bullish, Thiel is building the regulated on-ramp for trading assets like Bitcoin and Ether. With BitMine, he's backing a company on a path to becoming one of the most influential stakeholders in the Ethereum network itself. One is the gateway, the other is a pillar of the city inside. This is the Monopoly Playbook. Don't just participate, build, and own the critical components. We're going deep down the rabbit hole here, and if you find this level of analysis valuable, if you want to understand the why behind the market, not just the what, then take a moment to subscribe. We skip the hype and deliver insights that give you a real edge. Hit that subscribe button and let's get to the final piece of Thiel's playbook. Principle 3, political alignment and power. The third and final pillar of Peter Thiel's crypto playbook is the most complex and controversial, political alignment. Thiel is not a naive libertarian who believes superior technology will automatically win. He's a pragmatist. He understands that for any new system to succeed, especially one that challenges the global monetary order, it must eventually either defeat or align with state power. His most famous statement on this came during a 2021 virtual event. He said, and I quote, "I do wonder whether at this point Bitcoin should also be thought of in part as a Chinese financial weapon against the US. The crypto community was outraged. They saw it as a betrayal, but they missed the genius of what he was doing. This wasn't an attack. It was a strategic repositioning of Bitcoin for policymakers. Let's unpack this. He explained that Bitcoin threatens fiat money, but it especially threatens the US dollar, which is the bedrock of America's global power. China, he argued, would love to see the dollar weakened. Therefore, if China is long Bitcoin, it serves as a tool to erode America's financial dominance. What was the real message? He was speaking to the US establishment in the language of geopolitics and national security. He reframed Bitcoin from a nerdy project into a matter of urgent national interest. He was essentially telling Washington, wake up. A financial revolution is happening. Right now, China could benefit from it. You need to get in the game and ensure this revolution is led by the West. He was telling them to embrace Bitcoin, not because it's cool tech, but because it's a strategic necessity. He even contrasted it with AI, which he has called kind of communist because its nature as a tool of surveillance and control aligns with state objectives. Crypto, in his framing, is fundamentally libertarian and aligns with American values of freedom. This is a recurring theme in his career. He co-founded Palantir to provide tools to intelligence agencies. He's a major political donor, instrumental in the political careers of figures like J.D. Vance. Thiel understands that technology and politics are inseparable. His crypto investments reflect this. He is backing companies like Bullish and BitMine that are structured to work within the regulated system. Bullish went to great lengths to secure a New York BitLicense. BitMine is a publicly traded company on a US stock exchange, subject to full transparency. This isn't a coincidence. It's a deliberate strategy to build crypto infrastructure that is not only superior, but also politically palatable. Thiel's playbook isn't just about economic disruption. It's about navigating geopolitical power. He is positioning crypto not as an enemy of the state, but as a potential savior of Western financial leadership. Part 3, the future, why it matters. So, what happens when we put all three principles together? The contrarian truth, the monopoly play, and political alignment. You don't get a random collection of investments. You get a coherent, multi-decade vision for a new financial world. The playbook unfolds like this. First, the contrarian truth identifies the opportunity. Thiel saw that the decay of the fiat system would create massive demand for a decentralized alternative. He didn't see Bitcoin as a fad. He saw it as a necessary response to a crisis of confidence in our institutions. Second, the monopoly play builds the critical infrastructure. This isn't about launching another token. With Bullish, he is constructing the institutional superhighway for capital. With BitMine, he is backing a foundational pillar of the Ethereum network. He's not buying a house in the new city. He's building the power plant and the stock exchange. And third, political alignment provides the shield. By framing Bitcoin as a tool of Western empowerment, he is attempting to co-opt the very power structures it seeks to disrupt. He is giving policymakers a reason to say yes, and ensuring his monopolies can grow in the full light of day. This is the secret of the playbook. It's a systems-level approach. It's patient, philosophical, and playing out right now. Thiel isn't just a crypto investor, he's a crypto architect, applying the same principles that helped him see the future of digital payments with PayPal and social networks with Facebook. What does this mean for you? It means you have a new lens. When you evaluate a crypto project, don't just ask if the tech is cool. Ask Thiel's questions. What contrarian truth does this project believe? Is it creating an entirely new category? What is its monopoly strategy? Is it building a defensible moat, or is it just another fish in a crowded sea? And finally, what is its relationship with power? Does it have a plausible path to integration? Understanding this playbook is like being handed a map to a hidden world. It allows you to see the market not as a chaotic casino, but as a grand chessboard where long-term strategies are unfolding. The game isn't about finding the next hot trend. The game, as Thiel plays it, is about finding the next 0 to 1. Peter Thiel's crypto playbook is not a secret trading formula. It is a philosophy for building the future. It's a masterclass in contrarian thinking, monopolistic strategy, and the realities of power. He identified the rebellion with Bitcoin, he is building the institutional stadium with Bullish, and he is acquiring a strategic stake in the new world's infrastructure with his bet on BitMine and Ethereum. He is playing a long game that will likely define the next several decades of finance. The risks are immense, and his bets could just as easily fail as they could succeed. But to ignore his strategy is to ignore one of the most powerful forces shaping this industry. His moves give us a glimpse into a world where crypto isn't just an asset class, but the very foundation of a new economic reality. What do you think of Thiel's grand strategy? Is he a visionary building the future, or a pragmatist making a calculated high-stakes bet? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more deep dives like this that analyze the strategies of the world's most influential players, make sure you are subscribed and have notifications turned on.